If nearly 7,000 railcars of coke left this canyon in 1 year, then this wasn't a mine. It was an artery, and arteries leave scars. The question is, are we looking at the scars, or just what was left behind? You ever notice paper ages better than brick? Paper keeps numbers, brick keeps scars, or at least it's supposed to. Sunnyside, Carbon County, Utah. A rail spur, about 17 miles, pushed into this canyon in the late 1890s. Steel doesn't go that far for scenery, it goes for extraction. Between 1902 and 1903, records say 480 beehive coke ovens were built here. 480. And by 1912, the file shows 347,356 tons of coke in a single year. 347,000 tons. Now the older man in me sits up, because that is not a decorative number. That is industrial weight. By the mid-1910s, reports list the count up around 700 ovens. Not all running at once, sure. But even half of that is a canyon full of flame. Now let's stop staring at brick for a second. Let's understand what coke is. Coke isn't for warmth. Coke is refined carbon. You feed it to blast furnaces. You feed it to smelters. You feed it to the bones of industry. No coke, no steel. No steel, no bridges, no rail, no warships. So 347,000 tons in 1912. What does that mean? Let's do arithmetic. A railcar might carry 50 tons. 347,000 divided by 50. Roughly 6,900 railcars. In 1 year. Divide that by 365 days. Nearly 20 carloads a day. Every day. Through that 17-mile spur. Into the Rio Grande system. That's not a side operation. That's an artery. And arteries feed something large. A blast furnace could consume hundreds of tons per day. So this output could sustain one, maybe 2 major furnaces. That means regional demand, mining, smelting, anaconda. So this canyon wasn't peripheral. It was plugged in. Now, if that scale is real, brick should look tired, not poetic. Tired. We walk the canyon, rows of domes. Front faces torn open, not preserved arches. Opened. Could be salvage, could be collapse. Hard times make men practical, but row after row, opened like that doesn't feel gentle. Now the interiors, in the chambers I could enter, in the sections still standing, the soot saturation in many places feels lighter than expected. Not absent, just not scaled. 300,000 tons per year does not leave a polite footprint. It leaves glaze. It leaves fatigue. It leaves repetition burned into brick. So either the surviving ovens are not the ones that bore the heaviest burden, or the footprint we see does not proportionally represent the peak years. Those are the serious explanations, not conspiracy, reconciliation. Add the 1940s, World War II. Roughly 297 ovens reopened. Reopened means repair. Mortar work, intervention. If that happened, there should be layering. Early brick, later repair. Sometimes you see hints, sometimes you don't. I am not claiming absence. I am saying, the layering doesn't always feel as pronounced as the timeline suggests. I do not doubt coke was produced here. I do not doubt railcars left this canyon loaded. What I question is whether what remains visible today fully represents the intensity of the peak years. Because if nearly 7,000 railcars left here in 1 year, if this fed blast furnaces, then this canyon once carried weight, industrial weight, and when I stand among these domes, I'm still measuring that weight, not shouting, measuring. Maybe the heaviest batteries were dismantled. Maybe the primary clusters are gone. Maybe we're walking the remainder, not the engine. That's how industry contracts. It builds hard, it burns hot, then it gets taken apart. So the real question isn't, did it burn? It did. The question is, are we standing in the heart of it, or just the bones? The production was real. The rail flow was real. What we see now is a fragment. Fragments rarely show full scale.